All right, it's time to shape the loaf. So you can see that the dough has proved quite a bit, double if not tripled in volume, and it is sticky and bubbly. So we're definitely going to need some flour. This is obviously a clean countertop. I have parchment paper ready and waiting because you won't have time to get that out once you're done shaping the loaf. Not an insignificant amount of flour, you don't want to go crazy or anything, but alright, and just like when folding, I'm going to dampen my hands. That's a lot easier for working with this really wet dough than flouring your hands. And you just kind of want to go in and pull the dough away from the sides. If you find your hands are starting to get sticky again, excuse me, just dip them in a little more water. And I'm going to kind of gently dump this out on the counter. Now, a lot of dough recipes, talk about knocking the dough down and that sort of thing. With this really wet dough, you kind of want to avoid that. You want to be a little more gentle with it. And I want you to notice, again, it's a very slack dough right now. It's been sitting in there, rising, and so the gluten has had a chance to relax. If I tried to shape it like this, I would be so frustrated. And this was the part that I had always missed, and this was why I was always frustrated. So I'm going to dampen my hands one more time. Before you shape, you have to give this dough a little more strength. So you're going to, just like when you were doing it before in the bucket, you're going to pull and fold. And what's amazing is very quickly you will see this dough starting to behave very differently. And at first you'll see I'm able to pull quite far, and it won't be very long at all before it'll be a nice taut dough ball. If at any point you see it kind of starting to stick, put a little bit more flour down. Do be cautious not to use too much flour, or you'll end up with flour lines in your dough, and that's no good either. So pull and fold. Yep, see how I can barely pull anymore. There's a big bubble. I'm going to pop that one. So at this point, I'm going to kind of call it good because I can't really pull it that much anymore. I'm going to make sure I have enough flour. I'm going to flip it over, and this is where I'm now actually kind of getting into the shaping. So I'm going to take the side of my hand, I'm going to use the friction on the counter, and I'm going to slide the dough ball along the counter. And what that's going to do is it's basically going to pull the dough taut over the top of the loaf, and it's going to give it some strength. It's going to kind of trap some of those gases in there, so it's not as easy for the ball to come undone, if you will. So you do it a few times until it just starts to look nice and smooth on the top. And that's about it right there. And I'm going to gently transfer it to the parchment. And that's it. That's the whole deal. What you'll see is now, even though it's a very wet dough, you have a nice taut-shaped boule ready to go.